Um, okay.
Mhm.
So, everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today, we want to talk about conversational strategies for all age groups. I
Mhm.
mean, teenagers, children, and adults. Okay? Ready?
Right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. It's conversation.
Yes. So, basically, in this webinar, we are going to discuss what are conversation strategies, why do we need to teach them, and how can we teach them in different level.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, the golden key is you always start your class with something which is not very challenging or difficult for students, then all students have ideas about it, not just a specific group. When you ask, for example, how's your summer vacation going? Or how was your summer been so far?
Mhm.
Talking about different, like New Year or Christmas activities and markets, everybody has some ideas to share.
Mhm.
So, if we want to motivate and encourage someone to speak, it's better you talk about something that they like. But sometimes in the class, you have to cover, the material, right?
Mhm.
You have to teach kind of reading or topic, which is in their schedule. So what we do, we start the class with something that they're excited to share
Mhm.
and they have ideas.
Mhm.
Then we want to break the ice.
Mhm.
You say, even for shy students, we want to break the ice. So why not we find a topic that they have ideas about it? If you, for example, if you ask about basketball matches or hockey, maybe not everybody interested, right? So don't think what you like as a teacher, or sometimes, because I'm an observer too, sometimes I observe some classes and I ask the teacher, why you keep talking about American football? I said, because everybody talks about it. I said, no, never me, I have no idea. So see, think big,
Yeah.
not just what you like.
Mhm.
Okay, like sometimes you can put a picture
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
said, look at that picture and talk.
Mhm.
Share two, three sentences of what you say when you look at this picture and give them time. 30 seconds, think and share anything you want to talk about. That's fine. Just talk about this picture. This is another way to encourage them to talk. For example, if I show you this picture, what would you say?
What would we say?
Mm-hmm. Tell me.
Oh, I'd be like, oh, those are the things I'm going to put in my suitcase for my summer holiday. Maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm going to the beach.
Daniela. Yeah, Daniela, what would you say?
That kind of reminds me of Tarzan, where Jane is wearing kind of like those types of props in the film. That's where my brain shifted to right away.
Love that.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Or maybe one said, oh, they're exactly the ones I wear when I was at the beach, right? In Brazil. My hat was yellow and my sunglasses were yellow too. See? So they say different things and it's fun and they share, So you break the ice and help them to start the conversation, to start to talk. You start asking them some question. Wonderful. Was it really yellow? Oh, what about Tarzan? Actually, I don't remember. Yeah, I remember the girl with the big eyes, right? The girl in Tarzan. Wow, what was the name of the girl?
Her name, I think, is Jane.
Yeah, it's Jane.
Yeah.
Tarzan
With
is her
eyes.
boyfriend, and they live in the
Mhm.
trees.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Very romantic.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I love the cartoon and the movie. So
It,
see, people share
mhm.
ideas, and in this way, you boost the energy in the class.
Mhm.
This
I have
is
a
the way.
question. You know how you were saying like try to make like the themes or the topics interesting or to like kind of engage them? I was thinking, could we as teachers kind of develop a question to see where their interests align. Like we could do random and just say like, what do you guys like about this or stuff, just so I can get an idea of the class, like so then I can build off of that, right?
Yeah, sure. What I usually do, very first session, I share something about myself, because the students like to know about you. So I talk about my hobbies, I talk about my interests, I talk about my favorite kind of music or genre of movies, I share these things, and then I ask them to share and said, hey, what about the sport? Do you like sport? What about music? What kind of music do you like? Or do you play any musical instrument? And then I take notes. This is another way on the very first session. So then you make a bond even between the students. They find, oh, I play piano. Then they say, Tom also is playing to play piano too, Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I just got your link, so sorry.
No, no, no. We just started. Okay.
Bye, Carlos.
Hello.
So Daniela, you can even ask them, oh, what's your idea about this and that? And give them even certain levels, like I would say 6 above. You can even give them options. What topic do you like to talk about? Because they have the knowledge to share ideas and thoughts. So they choose the topic that they like more, or you can just, as I told you right now, so you can ask them general questions, talk about their hobbies. What do you do in your free time? And these kind of questions to know them better in the very first session. Then based on your notes and, the students, further activities and like topics you choose based on what they like. So when we want to talk about conversation, Carmelo, today we talk about conversation activities and strategies. Okay?
Yes.
So one technique is you choose a topic that can control the conversation, keep going. Not with one or two questions, it's finished. No way to continue, So how can we keep going on this conversation for like 3, 4, or maybe 5 minutes? And then you need to plan how you manage that conversation. Like when you give them a topic, do they have ideas about that topic? Or do they know proper vocabulary or grammar to talk about it? If not, so you need to give them a kind of list, or you need to teach them the vocabulary that they need to use while they want to talk about that topic. Or you have to email them like a text to read before coming to the class, a short video to watch before coming to the class. Like the topic of the reading is about Japan, and your students have no idea about Japan. So if you ask them some questions, they have no ideas. One of the way is just send them a very short video about Japan. So before coming to the class, they watch that short video. Or you send them a text and they read about it. Even you can start talking about like Asian countries and Japan, China, you talk about it the session before, so they had some ideas. If they are 6 above, 6 plus, so we can ask them, you can tell them next time we are going to read about Japan, and we have a discussion actually. So it's better you Google and have some ideas when you want to come to the class. So they get prepared for the topic. Not always you can just put the topic on the board and the students start to talk. No, sometimes they need to get prepared to come. One thing that usually happens when you have students from different nationality is they start talking in their mother tongue. This is very important to control in the class. Or like their mother tongue, like Spanish, and you have some Spanish students, and they ask you in Spanish. So for conversational classes, we always put a rules. The target language is, if it is English, the target language is English. We all speak English in the class. If the target language is Spanish, we all speak Spanish. So it's your method, your strategy, how make it understandable and simple for them to understand the class and what's going on. Why? Because your students are from different countries in the class. So if you know Spanish and three of the students know Spanish and you start speaking Spanish, what happened to the other students, right? So if maybe that's what happened. I remember I was observing another class and the teacher knows Chinese and three students were Chinese. So while teaching, they ask in Chinese and the students and the teachers just turn to them and explain it in Chinese. What happened is the other students said, we don't understand anything. So this is the part that we really need to control in the class. All the students are responsible to use the target language of the class. Why, if you have foreign students in the class. So according to Reichbach, conversational strategies are certain conscious ways to help maintain communication. What do you understand of this sentence? Share your ideas.
I have a question actually. So conscious ways, I guess there's unconscious ways as well to maintain communication?
Subconscious.
Okay.
So that's why I had to ask you, what do you get? Certain conscious ways?
So if I'm strategizing and I'm thinking, how do I keep this conversation going? One way I would do that is to ask an open-ended question, meaning that it cannot be responded to with a yes or a no, but requires more information. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Perfect.
Although I have no doubt there are many more.
Yeah, perfect. What else?
I guess using visual aids to be able to support that. So if we're doing a lesson of Japan, for example, we could have pictures of certain like plants or trees to keep it engaging, but still on topic of why we're talking about what we're talking about, if that makes sense.
Very good. To know what we are talking about. That means conscious here. Students know what they are learning today. That's very important. The modern books or in modern way of teaching, there is a list that after the 2-3 units, the students tick what can they do. I can write a letter to my teacher. They say yes. Or I can write an essay. They say yes, no. So they should be aware of what they are learning today. If like they are adults, we need to tell them, today you learn how to make a conversation when you go for grocery shopping, when you are in the meeting. Today we want to practice how you manage the job interview. For children, today we are going to read a story. Then I want you to tell me which character do you like more. So they understand what's happening in the class. They should be conscious. That's why we keep asking them questions, concept checking questions.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to clarify here. So we're talking about situationally specific conversational strategies. so that when these
Exactly.
people leave the classroom, they're going out into the world and they're equipped for certain environments, not in the classroom as a teacher. I'm going to have a conversational strategy with you. We're talking more specifically, situationally specific. Am I right?
And the other thing is, even if you have like free discussion class or like you put a topic on the board and you ask them to talk, we need to tell them, okay, I want you while you're talking, use these vocabulary.
Yeah.
Or I want you while we are talking or you making a dialogue or conversation, use this function. So they know today they are practicing this new list of vocabulary or this function or this structure. That's conscious way. It's not like movie night. I come here and we talk and we go. You know what I'm saying? So it's each session has topic and object, and then I get you, and they understand what they are learning in this session. Am I clear now? Yes, Daniela.
So in a way, you have to find a topic or a conversation topic that is something that just doesn't just stretch into the classroom, but stretches outside of the classroom, and it's relatable. I think in the first session that we had, or for me, it was at least the first session. It's something that has to be relatable to children or to adults in a way that they're understanding what they're learning to some degree. It doesn't have to be like perfect, but at least they understand it, right?
Right, 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 right. Okay. So what happens in conversation sessions? At lower level, we work on fluency. First of all, tell me what's the meaning of fluency, or when we say they need to be more fluent. Fluency means what in conversation, in talking?
On how they pronounce the words, on how they
One
write
is
it.
nuance. The other thing, talking with no pauses. Okay, talking with no pauses. Look at them as, not all of your students are Canadian and not all your classes are English, right? You have students from different part of the world in your class, right? Some of them are Chinese, some of them are Spanish, some of them are Arab, some of them are Persian. So while we talk about fluency means they can talk without pauses. Mm-hmm. What about accuracy? So because in conversation classes, we work on fluency and accuracy both. What about accuracy?
So making grammatical mistakes, using the wrong word, the wrong context.
Exactly. So in conversation classes, we work on both. Lower level, like children that start to talk, we never correct them, right? Like 1.5 or 2 years old, we just try to understand what they want, what they are asking. So let them talk. We help them and we repeat the sentence correctly, but we just focus on their fluency, right? We give them a chance to talk and use the language. If you teach like Spanish in the class or French, right? If you teach French in the class and they're learning French, so you let them to use the words, get familiar with the structure. We don't interrupt them on and on to correct them. So lower level, the focus is on fluency. Meanwhile, we work on accuracy too. But when we get to the higher level, like 6 above, 7, 8, 9, 10, after intermediate level, the focus is on accuracy. Now they know the language. The activities in the class mostly is on accuracy. Okay, so let's see how it works. We have Gayani in the class. Hello, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Sure. We're talking about conversation strategies, okay, for different
Yeah,
age groups and levels.
okay.
Okay. So, as we said, Language teachers who concentrate on fluency, we pay more attention to the meaning and the context. Okay. But if the focus is on accuracy, you help your students to produce grammatically correct spoken, the target language, not always English, Spanish, French, Arabic, whatever. Okay. So proper, as Carmelo said, proper words. Sometimes they use some words and say, hey, it's not proper in this situation. It's better you say this word, or this structure doesn't work here, or in your writing, it's not right. It's better you use the other one structure. So we are working on accuracy. Why we need strategies for teaching conversation? Because we want to keep the conversation going. One strategy is, as Michelle said, is open-ended questions, WH questions. You can ask 10 questions with where, when, how, when, why, correct? But if you ask to be question, they say yes or no and it's finished. Yeah. But WH question, open-ended question, it keeps the conversation going. When we say conscious ways of teaching or working in the class, we need active listeners. What does active listeners mean? What kind of listeners are active listeners? Any ideas?
Well,
Well,
I'm just
they're not focusing on
tell
the
you though.
words only. Sorry, Michelle.
No, Carmelo, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Say that again.
So they're not only focusing on, every word or every sequential word. They're trying to sort of think ahead and see where the conversation's going. What are some of the following sentences that we should be ready for.
Okay, thank you very much, Michelle. You want to say something, Michelle? No.
Sorry.
Okay, Daniela. Right.
I think part of it also listening to the tonality of their voice, and part of it also is like, for me at least, when I'm talking, I want to see also their behavior or like their body language as they're trying to tell me, so then I understand, okay, what is this person trying to say at the end of the day? But their tone is something that you could catch on faster.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Guyana, you wanted to say something?
I would say the listeners who are actively participating in the conversation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Exactly. Why we keep asking questions, concept checking, or break the ice in the class? Because we want our students to be active listeners. They understand what's going on. They follow you, right, in the class. While you are driving and the radio is on, sometimes you listen and sometimes it's on, but you don't hear what it's saying, right? So in that moment that you are thinking about something else, you are like looking around and the radio is on, but you're not listening basically to the radio. So you are not an active listener, right? Active listening means you pay attention to understand what the speaker is saying or what the speaker is talking about. Keep asking questions, put them in pairs, put them in groups, WH questions, make your students active listeners, and they follow you. Body language, as Daniela said, is very important. Guys, do you think body language in different languages are different or the same?
They're the
No,
same.
they're different.
Different. Can you give me an example, like Daniela?
Like for example, Spanish, it's when we don't understand something, we kind of like use the hand expressions to kind of like communicate the confusion, versus I feel like here in Canada, I haven't seen a lot of people that are actually Canadians use hand expressions. They just kind of look
How
at
do you,
you.
how Spanish use their hands? Like this?
They'll go like that to make a point, or
Oh,
they'll
they
be
go
like
like that.
this. Like, yeah, I'm Spanish, that's why. I understand it that way. I know that they're confused.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand it. Okay. Anything else you know? Anybody languages you know? No? Okay, like I know that it is different. It is different. When English people want to say, I mean, people whose first language is English, when they want to say no, they do this, right? Right? But in Persian, they do this. So this means what in Persian? So if you say this, Persian start to explain it again because they think you don't understand it, and then you say what, you know. So I didn't know that. So while I was talking to someone, I'm originally I'm Iranian too, but it was a while I'm on site. Then they explain, say, yeah, I understand you, but I said no. And said, no, you didn't say no. You say what? See how body language is important in communication? So if you teach a language, teachers need to explain the body language as well. Like Daniela said, okay, when they say this, it means what? You know, they don't understand it. So, what's the best way to teach body language of the target language? Like you teach Arabic, or you teach Turkish, or you teach, you teach French. So, what's the best way as a teacher? What's the best way to teach the body language? How do you teach it to your student?
I'll add to this, if I may.
Uh-huh.
In my experience, getting people into role playing positions. And I would model it first, and then they duplicate it in their own way, and they can add their vocabulary, they can come up with their own dialogue. But modeling first and then role play, I found is pretty effective.
Perfect. Exactly. Modeling. The teacher is the model. What other ways?
Presenting them to maybe movies or YouTube videos that have a lot of that.
Exactly. That's the way I learn it. You know, but I remember when I wanted to learn Turkish from Turkey or German. I did the same thing. I watch movies a lot. Now I'm working on my French, so I watch YouTube and see them how do they talk, and you learn the intonation as well too, right? Tonality is very important. Do you agree? Tonality is very, very important in understanding people. So let me play this for you. Planet is, right? How do you work tonality, or how do you practice tonality with your students? Give me a suggestion. Come on, guess.
I think similar to what Michelle was saying before is that you role model it. So like you'll
Mm,
kind of say, no, I don't like this, and then you get them to follow along.
thank you. Yes.
Body postures.
Oh, sorry. Here. Uh, and you can ask them to repeat. Modeling and drilling. So when you want to say, if you are sure about something, how do you say it? If you're not sure about something, how do you say that? Like when you agree with someone, what's the tone or what's the intonation? When you disagree, what's the intonation? So they listen and repeat. They listen and repeat. Like you say, her name is Sarah. Her name is Sarah? So what's the difference? Rising and falling. Or tag ending. What's the difference? Rising and falling. Or when you say, wow, brilliant. It's different from when you say, brilliant. you know? So working with the students, asking them to repeat or give them different situation and say, how do you set it in this situation? Okay. One and another, Daniel, I'll get back to you. Another way is you put the sentence on the board and you ask them to repeat it the way that you want. Like you underline some of the word and say, I want you to repeat this sentence and put a stress on the word which is online. Like Kim bought new shoes yesterday. Then you online yesterday and say, how do you say that? Kim bought new shoes yesterday. So you're talking when. And then you underline Kim. Kim bought new shoes yesterday. Or underline shoes. Kim bought new shoes yesterday. So it depends what's the question or which word is more important. So basically, we do have stress for the word, like we never say interesting, we say interesting. Also, we have stress word in a sentence because there's a name behind it, or we want to share some specific information with the other person. So drilling works here too. Yes, Daniela. Oh, she's not at the tail. Okay. So we talk about the body language too. So even not only the gestures, but eye contact, for example, is important while they're talking, especially to children. Yes. When you're talking to me, look at me, right? Or posture or facial expression carrying meaning to the others, and they can understand it better if you say it in this way. Or specific gestures or facial expressions as a meaning in specific languages, like in Spanish, if you do this, it means that. And if you just, when you blink, it means something, So it's good to practice these things with your students as well. Now, yes, Daniela, you had a question? You had a question, Daniela? You raise your hand.
Yes. When it talks about physiology, what does that entail exactly?
Yeah, so I was saying that actually you were that especially for children, we teach them eye contact. While you're talking, it's better you look at the person. Yes, even facial expression in different languages has meaning. So it's good to know it, or gestures, or even the posture. Because basically, back to my experience for children classes and teenagers, adolescents classes. Sometimes we talk about the posture too, right? It's different, like with the way that you in the class is different with the other, and how do you talk? So or maybe I put it on formal and informal way gestures we talk. Okay, is that clear now? Good. Now I want you to listen to different intonation and tell me between 1, 2, 3, 4. Unsure, sarcastic, or nervous or statement. Which one would you say? Give